We're talking to Matt Orrego from Cornerstone Information Systems. Matt, you've returned only very shortly from India, from the inaugural Phocuswright in India. How did you get on? Give us your impressions.
I loved it, Michael. I thought for a Phocuswright event, it was one of those classic Phocuswright times where you come into the inaugural event and you're wondering who's going to be there, and everyone was there. I mean, all the people that I've known that are the major players in travel in India and travel technology were there. So successful event, really awesome networking that we got to do there with a lot of companies that we were looking at exploring relationships with and partnerships with. So all around an outstanding event, and the content was wonderful.
So one thing that struck me was that the Phocuswright brand was exceptionally well known in India.
Yes.
It brought people to the event.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the quality of the event was there. Same format, and it was wonderful because the audience was really receptive to it.
And something I very much noticed was the fact that it wasn't top heavy with international people coming to kind of see what's happening in India. It was, the whole of the Indian industry was there.
Absolutely, yeah, very much an India-centric, participation. That's what I really liked about it. I mean, I love all the Phocuswright events, but you get really a lot, of top heavy on the European side or top heavy on the American side sometimes. But it's really, mixed up in all the other events. This was very, very much an Indian conference and a lot of Indian companies and people there.
So what did you obviously got a chance to speak to a lot of the Indian companies that were there. What did you learn in terms of what's happening on the ground in India?
Well, people are traveling a ton in India, and it's a market unto itself, and that was really interesting to find out. I mean, just the sheer number of people there that can impact the travel industry is huge, and as their middle class is emerging, you're going to see a lot more Indians traveling outside of India and impacting tourism all over the world. So that really was an eye opener for me, and how that impact will be felt across the globe.
And there's an indigenous travel tech scene happening in India, so it's not that the big international players have arrived in India and are taking advantage of a big market. Yep. They've almost missed the boat in some respects. There's a lot of big players, OTAs, etc., who have even IPO'd, some of them, who are very well established.
Very much so. I mean, you see a lot of homegrown technology, some ideas borrowed from across the world, but really made to its own in the Indian market. So I agree. I mean, it's a strong sort of baseline of technology that you have in India, homegrown in India.